Hello everyone, I'm Tamara and welcome to my YouTube channel. When I think of children, I think of ice cream sundaes and ice cream trucks. The joy of choosing the zaniest flavors like cinnamon basil, coconut banana chocolate chunk, or peanut butter raspberry or cotton candy ice cream. I think of plain old, unpadded fun on a Saturday afternoon when I think of children. Kites flying everywhere and ball bouncing summer days. But that isn't the reality of more and more children these days. Children showing borderline personality disorder symptoms may describe feeling okay one minute and then deep despair, anger, sadness, or anxiousness the next. Their emotions or moods change quickly. They may feel out of control of or overwhelmed by their emotions. Children must learn how to interact with others, learn to share and take turns. Compile that with feeling out of sorts and struggling more than other children to get along with others. Not understanding why kids are rejecting them and feeling constant paranoia that students are picking on them, misinterpreting someone's gaze as an angry attack when the other child was simply having dandelion daydreams, the constant accusations that other children are always teasing or taunting them when it is unfounded becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. No one likes to be constantly accused of being rude when they aren't. So to keep from getting in trouble, children learn to pull away from them because they do not want to always be the bad guy when they are simply trying to do schoolwork and have fun playing. Teachers often feel drained by the borderline child's constant need for attention, disrupting class so that they can feel wanted and even alive. They may also feel agitated and act out more than your average child, and teachers feel frustrated because they have a classroom full of other children who need their attention too. But having to shift most of their attention on a child who constantly disrupts, interrupts, constantly has excuses to interact or need something, not accepting no for an answer, acting out when away from the teacher in gym or music or art, because they do not want to separate from their pseudo-caregiver. They can wear their teachers out from their constant demands, acting out behaviors, and difficulty getting along with other students. When someone is overly clingy, most people's reaction is to push away, run away, block them, become defensive, want the child removed out of their classroom because it is psychologically draining. Well, let's say someone has adopted a child who has borderline personality disorder. They may feel like locking their door and never coming out to get away from the overly clinging behavior. But what if I told you that something to give a try, and not just a day or two, but consistently, daily, over time? Do the opposite of what you feel like doing in those situations. Instead of pushing away, come closer. Instead of running away, go towards. Instead of figuring out all the ways possible to get away from the children, make a decision to create time and space to spend with the child. Instead of rejecting and pouring out, pour in. Pour in. Pour into the child. Give the child what he or she is asking for, what they are demanding. They want and need attention. A lot of repair work needs to be done to try to create new and fresh neurons in the brain that says, I'm safe, I'm okay, you're worthy of love and attention, and you are getting your needs met. I've observed biological children and foster children who do not want to be separated from their parents. For example, it may be difficult at first for them to go to school, so they cry. Biological parents' natural response is to soothe the child, hug them, reassure them, and try desperately to calm them. They will keep taking peeks back when they leave the child for school or watch them round the corner in the building. I've seen foster children not get that type of reaction. They must brave the world differently as they are told to get out of the car and go in. No one looks back to see did they make it in okay? The reason why it's important to observe these kinds of behaviors is because you want to emulate the biological parent as much as possible. Children need to feel wanted and loved. Even if you feel like rejecting them, pour in. Over time, some of the acting out behavior will subside, at least to some degree, but it requires consistency and persistence, not the quick fix microwave version that most people want. It just won't work. When I say pour in, whether it's a teacher or a caregiver, give the child a hug when they reach for you. Find some time in the day to spend with them. Give them little treats and toys and teddy bears to hold on to. I once worked with a foster care who was acting out and not securely attached, and I probably gave her 5 or 6 teddy bears. We would sit and sing happy songs to get her endorphins working in a positive direction. I'd give her donuts and cookies and treats and hugs and lots of positive feedback. When she didn't want to separate from the coloring book she was coloring in, I allowed her to take it with her, and the crayons too. Isn't that what healthy biological parents do? How many children have the latest cell phones and the best sneakers at a very young age? Or when the child has a dress-up day at school, a parent will spend all night shopping so the kid doesn't feel left out. People may look at this as spoiling, but I've seen thousands of healthy children who are poured into in this way and given the things that they want in life. A teacher can designate 5 minutes a day to spend with an unruly child. Of course, he or she will want to do the opposite, but it's either sink or swim with these children. BPD children will scream louder and become more manipulative when you cut them off because that's what they have to do to get a tiny bit of attention. So give them some time that they are asking for. Create a reward system that rewards them with stickers more frequently at first and then less and less over time to stretch them. When the child knows you're going to spend time with them, whether it's talking or reading a book together, it gives them something to look forward to and becomes a bargaining tool. It's not that you're only spoiling a child. Set boundaries too. Compromise, compromise, compromise. Pick a couple of rules that you are going to stick with no matter what. For example, a compromise would be if a child is constantly getting out of their seat to talk to you, you speak to them privately and say, when it's work time, you stay in your seat. When it's playtime at recess, the first 5 minutes will be for me and you can tell me everything you want to share. If the child continues to get out of their seat, you can refrain from talking and simply point to their seat. After that, you can hold up a sign that says, it's work time. The child may act out at first or shut down and refuse to work. The consequence would be getting a 0 on the assignment. Refrain from begging the child to sit up and do their work. Discuss it at a later time, like right after school, and explain what the expectations are in the morning. I do not become discouraged from having to repeat the same thing or the same lesson to a child 100 times if I need to. I used to measure that as failure, but I no longer do. Children are learning, and sometimes that means repeat, repeat, repeat. Content analysis of DSM criteria by Greger and Crick in 2001 found 5 childhood indicators of BPD: hostile or paranoid worldview, impulsivity, intense, unstable, or inappropriate emotion, excessively close relationships, and lack of sense of self. Some may wonder what creates a borderline child with acting out behaviors. Is it the combination of genetics and negatively experienced early times with parents and caregivers that is considered to put a child at risk of increased risk of developing BPD? Yes. So if you do not get anything else from this, remember, with a borderline child who is extremely needy, pour in. These children will not allow you to ignore them or push them away. They will simply act out more. They have a lot of energy, and you can let them channel it by letting them pass out the papers or stack books on the shelf or run an errand. Keep them busy. That helps. If they are foster children, get them involved in activities like an art class or tumbling or martial arts. Surprise them with treats or take a walk. Positive, positive, positives. They need lots of that. If you give them a time out, talk to them afterwards about the expectations. Empower them by using words like, you're a leader, you can do this. Or, I noticed you were very kind when you shared your cookie, so I know you can do it. Raising a child, whether well-behaved or not, feeding, clothing, protecting takes a lot of work and resources, so do not be surprised by the time it takes. Be surprised when things are unusually calm and pleasant. When teachers are shocked by having to work with challenging students, it sets them up for extreme success and headaches and disillusionment. When it is the world we live in, we're going to have some challenging kids to work with at times. Step into it bravely and be surprised when you have the perfect classroom. So, if you're interested in learning more about another disorder like narcissistic personality disorder, check out my book, The Workplace Narcissist, on Amazon by Tamara Zyon, and it will shed light into difficult people and some ways that you can handle them in your life. And definitely share this video with other people that you think it will help. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching, lovelies. Bye.